because it's not really opinions. They're willing to not have any opinions on anything else other than feeding narcissism, feeding this career that seems insurmountable, and they adopt these liberal sensibilities and ideologies, and they don't necessarily do it because they thought these things through. I mean, occasionally you got your Mark Ruffalo type characters really all in on things,
right.
But most of them are not.
Right.
Most of them are just nonsense.
So let's get this straight. Joe Rogan has never exactly been shy about voicing his thoughts, right? And when it comes to sharing what he really thinks about Hollywood, he puts it all out there without hesitation.
The people that think outside of the norm say it in like whispered hush tones. There's a certain ideology that's attached to that city, and it's not logical. It's a kooky, wacky, completely insulated left-wing view of the world, and they enforce it with an iron fist. And if you're not on that team, you don't get booked for things. You don't get picked for things. If you're someone who has conservative leanings, or you talk about, because there's projects.
In essence, he is arguing that the entertainment sector is a vast, phony playground.
Desperately trying to do. The last thing they want to do is do something and talk about something that's going to politically get them at odds with the people that run the studios. So no one does. Everybody just follows the same sort of wacky ideology that these people take from the universities. They go straight.
In today's entertainment world, it often feels like celebrities care more about saying what's expected than sharing what they truly believe. Even off camera, many of them seem to stay in character, turning everyday life into another performance. And that shapes far more than just the movies they star in. Now, Joe Rogan's take isn't exactly groundbreaking. Plenty of people have pointed out Hollywood's glossy but hollow exterior. Still, when someone like Rogan speaks with sharpness and confidence, the message lands differently. He knows how to grab an audience's attention with a bold edge. And honestly, it's refreshing to hear him call out the industry for valuing political correctness over real artistic expression.
All right, diving deeper into this Hollywood circus, let's actually dig into what Joe Rogan has to say about the nonsense culture that seems to thrive over there.
Because it's not really opinions. They're willing to not have any opinions on anything else other than feeding narcissism, feeding this career that seems insurmountable, and they adopt these liberal sensibilities and ideologies, and they don't necessarily do it because they thought these things through. I mean, occasionally you got your Mark Ruffalo type characters really all in on things,
right.
but most of them are not.
Right.
Most of them are just nonsense.
So, if you're fed up with Hollywood's double standards and crave some unfiltered honesty, why not stick around? Hitting that subscribe button not only supports the channel, but also keeps you in the loop for every upcoming conversation. Trust me, there's a lot more to uncover, and you won't want to miss any of it. With that said, let's pull back the curtain on this Hollywood spectacle and break down what Joe Rogan really thinks about the strange culture that thrives there.
The entire mindset of that part of the country is doing things that you think other people will like. Imagine a hellscape of a world where everyone in the business, in one business, everyone is liberal? How is that possible? How is it possible? How is it possible when the country is basically divided 50-50? It's not.
At first glance, Hollywood shines with all its energy and glamour. But when you look a little closer, it feels less like a dream world and more like a high school, full of cliques, hidden rules, and a constant pressure to fit in.
Stars and all that started it all off. And the Real Housewives and all that wacky. That's a storm of anxiety. Just a hurricane of confusion and Zoloft and fucking and everyone's losing their mind, and everyone's in therapy, and everyone's nuts, and everyone's trans.
Picture being forced to wear the right clothes, say the right words, and mingle only with the right people. Add to that the pressure of political correctness, no longer a choice, but an unspoken requirement, and the whole scene becomes even more ridiculous.
Generally speaking, people come to Hollywood if they have an acting dream. That's the big reason why, right? That's like probably the number one. The way the system works is you go there, and then you go into a room like this one. So like maybe we could be the casting directors, and someone would come in, and you go, "Hey, Mark, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where'd you move from?" And there's like a smugness to it and a weirdness to it because they have power over you. And they're like, "Well, I'm from New Jersey, but been acting. I did a bunch of plays and blah blah blah, and I'm out here trying it out." Okay, Mark. Well,
Let's take a moment to discuss homogeneity.
PA will read off a thing. Well, Ted, I don't even know if we can do this, man. It just seems like it's all wrong. You're like, come on, man, we can do it. You're in this, I've done this so many times. You're in this like completely non-natural environment. It's usually a conference room in a production office. And you're in this non-natural environment with these smug people that have this massive amount of power.
The pressure to stay in step with the dominant narrative is overwhelming, and stepping outside that rigid box can cost you everything. Say something even slightly controversial and you're instantly cast out. These so-called free spirits end up shackled by the fear of slipping down the popularity ladder, trapped in a game they can't afford to lose. Think about it. If their only strategy is echoing catchy phrases just to secure more roles, can we really call that creativity?
Those nonsense people will get on stage and they'll say, like at the Academy Awards or at the Grammys, they'll talk about, this is what we have to do. We have to make sure that we support this.
On top of that, there are forces within the industry constantly steering the narrative, reshaping popular culture to fit their vision. Just look at the over-the-top spectacle of the Oscars. It's the perfect example. What was once a stage for celebrating artistry has steadily morphed into a megaphone for political talking points. Take the thank you speeches at award shows. Do they really grab your attention anymore? These days, they echo the latest slogans more than they honor the craft. And it's not just disappointing. At times, it's blatantly obvious. What should be a celebration of artistic brilliance often feels like a string of carefully rehearsed statements instead. Think back for a moment. Hollywood was once the dream factory, a place where generations grew up enchanted by the magic of cinema. Writers and directors pushed boundaries, telling raw and authentic stories that reshape culture. But now, unless a project falls neatly within the approved set of ideas, its chances of being made are slim. Originality has taken a back seat to theatrics, leaving true creativity sidelined. That's the frustrating part. Genuine artistry gets smothered under Hollywood's machinery, a system defended as progress, yet designed to maintain control. And this pressure doesn't only crush newcomers, even household names aren't safe. Big stars often bend to the rules, clinging to their popularity by playing it safe, which results in watered-down performances and limited storytelling. And let's not forget the artists who paid the price for speaking out. Remember Gina Carano? She was dropped simply for expressing views that didn't match the Hollywood echo chamber. Meanwhile, Pedro Pascal stirred controversy too, but walked away mostly untouched. Why? Because it all depends on telling the right stories and playing by the right rules. That imbalance is how the game works. Go with the flow or risk being cast aside. And here's the kicker. The challenges only grow from there. No one in Hollywood feels the pressure quite like the actors. They're expected to work nonstop, pitching scripts, endorsing stories, even backing projects they may not believe in. Honesty? That can mean harsh backlash or worse, a lost career. So pretending becomes the foundation of the profession. It's almost theatrical watching stars navigate this maze. High-stakes meetings, fancy dinners, and exclusive parties, all governed by an unwritten checklist of approved beliefs. When you stop and think about what's really behind every "I stand with this" or "I support that," it's unsettling. Beneath the polished smiles is often someone worn out, scared, and just trying to survive the next industry event. And what's left behind is the slow erosion of authenticity. Instead of being a symbol of daring creativity, Hollywood now looks more like a polished marketing machine churning out the same safe, predictable messages year after year. But here's the twist. Audiences aren't buying it anymore. People are paying closer attention. They roll their eyes at award speeches, stage tributes, and glossy PSAs that feel more scripted than sincere. What viewers actually want is simple. Real stories, real artistry, and entertainment that isn't buried under hollow moralizing. It makes you wonder, could Hollywood ever return to that freer era when creativity wasn't shackled by narrow ideological rules, when storytelling itself was bold enough to lead the way? So let's pause here. What do you think? Is Hollywood's fixation on staying in line draining the life out of its art? Share your take in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective and keep this conversation going.